Hello everyone, welcome to our video. Today, we'll explore engineering and benchmarking through José Saramago's novel, Blindness. We are the Hoxpox back. Let's begin. It all started with a man who suddenly lost his sight. There was no warning, no symptoms, just a white flash that left him blind. And what seemed like an isolated case became the beginning of the collapse of an entire city. In that moment, both in the story and any organization on the verge of disaster, the first need arises to understand what is happening. The government, doctors, everyone begins searching for answers, desperate to find a pattern, a cause, an explanation that will allow them to act. They observe, analyze, and collect data amid the fear. That is organizational diagnosis. When chaos forces you to stop and look, even if you don't want to, even if it hurts. Because without knowing what we're facing, we are completely lost. And in the novel, that ignorance is what begins to trigger everything.
But they soon realize the problem is bigger than they have ever imagined. Blindness spread like a silent and troubled shadow, and then the world as they knew it simply stopped focusing. The rules no longer apply. The process that yet always guided society collapsed. Everything that used to be normal became useless. Inside the asylum, where the blind are confused, despair takes over, but little by little seduce the need to reinvent everything. New ways of organizing, new tasks, new responsibilities. People must build an improvised system from scratch to it, move, clean, and survive. That is pure reengineering, not adjusting on detail, but rebuilding the entire system from the ground up, accepting that reality has changed and that if we want to move for good, we must change it with it. In the book, each character unknowingly becomes part of forcibly reconstruct society.
Benchmarking. And when all seemed lost, something curious happened. Groups of blind people began to observe one another, secretly, consciously, fearfully, analyzing who was surviving better, who was finding smarter solutions, who was keeping calm. Some groups copied strategies from others improved what they saw, and even the woman who could still see became a kind of silent guide, a model everyone learned from. Without realizing it, they were doing benchmarking, taking what worked and applying it, so they wouldn't die in this new, dark world. Because, in the end, the novel shows us something unsettling, that in any crisis, whether in a city falling into blindness or an organization in the brink of collapse, there is only one way to survive. First, understand the problem. Then, reinvent everything. And finally, learn from those who do it better. And so, amid shadows, fear, and silence, the hope of seeing again begins to take shape.
In this story, we see that just like in the novel, any organization can suddenly face unexpected chaos. And in that first moment of uncertainty, understanding what is happening becomes essential. Without a clear diagnosis, every decision feels like a blind leap, and moving forward becomes almost impossible.
But once we understand the problem, the hardest part begins accepting that but working before it's not longer enough, reimagining process, breaking old structures, and reblending from scratch. Can't be performed, but is the only way to adapt to a reality that changes without warning.
And finally, the story reminds us that we don't have to do it alone. Observing, learning, and taking inspiration from those who are finding better solutions is what helps us survive, grow, and regain hope. Because in every crisis, real strength comes from learning, transforming, and moving forward together.